you clicked on this video because you haven't done shit in the last 6 months, and you're probably scared that you're gonna lose another year of your life. But honestly, props to you for clicking on this because caring enough to make a difference is the first step. Now, I don't want you to be scared for to lose the year because yes, it might happen, but dude, you still have half the year left, and you'd be surprised how much your life can actually flip complete direction, and you could honestly be unrecognizable by the end of the year. So, how do you not lose the rest of the year? It's easy. You just don't, you win it. Now, that's actually easier said than done, of course. So the first step is you got to define what winning is for you. So maybe you want to put on a bunch of muscle. Maybe you want to start trading and actually getting good at it. Maybe it's starting a business or spending more time with friends and family. Like whatever it is, man, you got to define it and know what it looks like and what winning looks like for you, because you can't win if you just don't know what it is. Now, you've probably heard of that quick little Harvard study that claims that only 3% of people have written down goals. Man, whether that's true or not, I honestly can't believe it because most people do have some pretty weak goals. I mean, if you ask your friend, like, hey man, like, what's your goal? He'll probably just say, like, oh, dude, I really want to learn the guitar, or I want to start going to the gym. I mean, dude, start going to the gym isn't a goal. Like maybe it's a goal for the day, but if you really wanted to go to the gym, you would have went this morning, you know? Because if you set your goal for I want to go to the gym for the next 6 months, it's silly. You're not going to wake up in the morning and actually like have drive and purpose to your life. So one thing that I've personally learned with goal setting is you want to set a goal that scares you, because to put this all into perspective, imagine you're supposed to build a spaceship, right? And you're aiming for Mars. How much easier would it be for you to end up on the moon? Because the moon is so much closer than Mars, but yet just getting to the moon is such a big accomplishment. But it was just so much easier for you since you were aiming for Mars. Yeah, it might feel like you didn't win because your goal was Mars, but I mean, dude, the moon is still really impressive. Now, to change that up and to put it into another perspective, imagine you have the same task of building a spaceship, but this time you're aiming for the moon. How much harder is it to actually just get to the moon now? Because what in reality what's going to happen is you'll probably just barely get off the ground and just blow up. So you want to set a goal so that the person you are right now is forced to change for you to be able to achieve it. So before watching this section, I kind of just want you to take some time to think about what these goals might look like. Like I said, maybe it's like gaining some muscle or whatnot. But the point that I'm trying to make here is that there's multiple types of goals. So the goal you're thinking about is more than likely something called an outcome goal. So because the reason it's called an outcome goal is because it's the outcome of your inputs. So say you do 200 push-ups for the next 6 months. What's the outcome going to be of you doing 200 push-ups every day for the next 6 months? Is your chest is going to grow. It's going to get stronger and you're going to look better. But the problem is, can you really control how much your chest is growing in the next 6 months? Because the push-ups will definitely influence how much your chest is growing, but at the end of the day, you can't pinpoint it exactly how much your chest will grow. That's kind of why I like to call these goals uncontrollable. Now, because you can somewhat control them, but not completely. These outcome goals, though, they're still really important because they're your North Star essentially. They give you direction, and that's where you want to end up. It's just you can't control what that North Star really will look like at the end of the 6 months. Another perspective, too, is remember when you were back in school and your teacher would give you an assignment that's due in 30 days. If you're anything like me, you've probably waited till the last 2 days to get it done. You just half-ass it just to get it done, just to give the teacher something because you didn't really care. And that's just the problem with these outcome goals. There's no system to it. So it's just this big North Star that's like right there, but you don't exactly know how to get to it. So you're just gonna crash and burn, and you need to systemize it. And we'll get right into it in the next section. But this is your life, man. You don't want to treat this like a school assignment. Now, if you're gonna take away one thing from the video I'm making today, it's this. So, the next set of goals is something called input goals. Because this is your input, essentially. So, coming back to those push ups, can you control how much your chest grows in the 6 months? No, of course you can't. But can you control doing those 200 push ups every day for the next 6 months? For the most part, yes, you can. It's up to your work ethic if you're going to do those push ups or not. So that's why I also like to call these controllables, because you can control them. You're just going to stress. If you're thinking about your outcome goal constantly, you're just going to end up stressing. And that's another reason why people crash and burn. This stuff is what separates the people that just write down their goals from the people that actually achieve it. So focus on the controllables. So here's a nice little example of input goals too. Now, say you go walk up to a girl. You walk up to a girl and you ask her for a number, essentially. Can you control if she says yes or no? You can't. But can you control the way you're dressed? Can you control the confidence you have when you go up to her? Can you control if you're groomed or not? Yes, you can. So you can essentially go up to 100 girls and they can all say no to you. But at the end of the day, you shouldn't get upset with it, because if you controlled all that stuff, like the way you're dressed, if you're groomed, your confidence, all that stuff, and all 100 said no to you, I know it's hard to, but essentially you did what you could. So there's nothing you could have done better. So in a way, you hit your goal and you should be proud of yourself for it. So I just wanted to put this back in full screen just to kind of share a story that emphasized the importance of these input goals. And this is honestly the thing that changed my perspective on them. So before I started trading, I was in sales. And one of my best friends in sales, he's a really high performer in the sales game. Like he gets like 8 to 10 deals a day, which is a lot in what we were selling. And I remember one day getting back and done with work, and I see him, and I check the sales leaderboard, and I see that he only got 2 deals that entire day. And I'm like, dude, what happened? And he's like, I don't know, man. People just weren't biting today. But the important part is like he seemed really happy in himself. And I asked him about it. I'm like, dude, how come you're not like upset about it? Because I know I get really upset when I underperform on certain days. And what he told me like really changed my life, honestly. He said, dude, I just controlled what I could control, because his goal going into the day wasn't to get 10 deals. It wasn't to be the number one salesman on the team. his goal that day were all input goals. So he focused on how many people he talked to, what times he was working. Was he working all day? He controlled his mindset too. Like he controlled if he got upset at the middle of the day and he was at no deals. He still had a positive mindset, and these were all things that he could control. And he checked every box. He did what he could. He controlled what he could control, meaning he won the day. Maybe to my perspective, it looked like, oh, this guy lost. He didn't sell anything, meaning he lost the day and he should be upset right now. But from his perspective, is he was just focused on the things that he could control and his inputs, because he knows if he focus on the inputs, the outputs or the outcome will come. Now, and the irony of this whole story is the next day he proceeded to have his biggest day, which was 15, and he did the exact same things and said the exact same words he did the day before, where he only got two. But it's just he just went into the next day not worried about a big goal. He just focused on talking to the people he needed to talk to, which was controllable, and having a good mindset while he was working. Stay focused on your inputs and your outputs will come. If you start losing your mind because your output or your outcome isn't coming, don't worry that isn't happening as quickly. Just focus on winning today. Did you do what you said you were gonna do? Did you do your 200 push-ups? If not, dude, no wonder your output isn't coming. Focus on winning today. Do what you can control and stack those inputs. And if you keep on stacking these wins day by day by day, dude, your outcome will come. Like, I promise you that. Small wins stack up, brother. The last part of advice that I will give you before I end this video is to reflect on yourself, man. Look at your goals. Ask yourself, will this challenge me? Is this something that aligns with who I am? Will this make me consider, if I achieve this goal, would I consider myself a winner? Now, do weekly reflections too. See if you're hitting your inputs. Make sure that you're treating each day like it's the last, because those inputs that you have set for yourself every day should be your number one priority every single day. Because if you sit down every Sunday and do your weekly reflections and you're seeing, damn, dude, I actually won every single day of the week, that's a green week. And if you do that the next week, and the next week, you have a green month. And if you stack 5 or 6 green months on top of each other, you won't even recognize the person you are or you were when you clicked and watched this video for the first time. Like, take this serious, bro. Like, the inputs, they stack up and they will change your life. Peace, man.